say, well, can I work with the office of such and such here on campus to find out what we want to boot you off the campus. Okay, we want you someplace off of BG's campus into a setting that you're less familiar with, not your job, not the university, but someplace out in the community somewhere.
And the big thing too is we want the project obviously to be related to science or math. You know, that's obviously the main point. So don't just grab some random supervisor. It doesn't have to be what you might consider a science or math company. I mean, we've had, you know, I'll give you a few examples. I know Dr. Bird mentioned a few examples. It doesn't have to be a company that's, you know, science or math necessarily, but the project obviously needs to be science or math related. And so if you're an A-way science major, you probably want to try to find one that's more science related. Doesn't mean you have to, you know, same thing for math and that kind of thing. So just, we really want this to be a positive experience for you, not just busy work where you're just fulfilling your requirement, but something you're going to get the most out of, so that someday when you are teaching, you can really explain to your students how this, you know, about this experience. And how the hours work, Dr. Burr said, you know, 20 is our required. Some students have done, you know, more than that, and we really try to work with the student and the supervisor to say, hey, we think this project's going to be more than 20. Or the students, you know, are you willing to do that? Are you able to do that schedule-wise? How the hours work out, especially in the summer. I mean, most of you have a lot more freedom, but no matter when you do it, we don't have requirements on how the hours are fulfilled as far as, you know, you can do it. Typically, we, you know, some people have done it all in 1 week, and that's okay. It's probably not our preference because we feel like if it's spread out, you get more time to come reflect on what you're doing. But it doesn't mean we would say no if you found a project during the summer that was kind of more of a condensed project. We definitely would consider that. We've had some of those that have worked out pretty well. But ideally, maybe it's 4 hours a week for 5 weeks, you know, something like that. It could be 2 hours a week for 10 weeks. You know, just really whatever works out best for the company, whatever the project's, you know, going to benefit them most, as well as what works with your schedule. So there's a lot of flexibility as far as that goes. So some of the examples of practicums that these were, and the other thing is if you do it in the fall or spring, we do have a lot of contacts in this area. So I'm very happy to help you. You know, if you do one in the fall or spring, you don't have to find a supervisor. You can come to me and say, Wendy, I want to do it in the fall or spring, and I will work it out. That's one benefit of doing the fall or spring. So some of the ones that locally, environmental water engineering, those are a couple students did their project there. They looked at reverse osmosis, and they tested bacteria in water pipes. There were 2 different projects at that one. At the Wood County Parks District, some students created a sensory garden. And then this last fall, some students helped to raise quail. So kind of some fun hands-on things that they got to do. This is, I don't think you mentioned this one, one of our favorites is someone worked at Conagra, and she looked at the efficiency of the Slim Jim stuffer machines. We think that's pretty cool. She brought in, during her presentation, she brought in Slim Jims. Nobody ate them, I don't think, but anyways.
They weren't sure what was in them. But
Yeah, exactly. One person worked at FC Stone. They did analysis on exchange rates. Wood County Solid Waste Department, they did analysis on recycling and how much was saved through recycling. City of Toledo Engineering Department, they tracked and they helped analyze water main breaks. These are just to give you guys some ideas. And if you want, I have a list of all the practicums that have been done. You know, this is just very brief, but I have a list of all of them. If you guys want that, I'll probably put it on the Blackboard site. You can look at that if you want some ideas. So there, I mean, there's so many. There's so many options out there that you guys can pursue. Another thing that we have found is that it's really worked out. Summer, this is definitely harder, but during the fall and spring, we have found a pair of students up has been really successful. Again, that's harder at home, but if you live near somebody and you say, hey, let's try to pair up, that's great. It's not required in any means, but we have found that it's, number one, it's more fun, you know, because you have a teammate you're working with. But then also, instead of just giving a company 20 hours, we say, hey, we have 2 students together, they can get 40 hours. Sometimes that's easier for them to have, because 20 hours is really not much. Sometimes companies look at me and say, Wendy, how can I come up with a project that's meaningful in 20 hours? And again, they can, but sometimes it's harder. But having 40 hours total can be easier. So, I think that is most of what I wanted to share. So, do you guys have questions about anything? Got it? So, be thinking. I'll pass these out at the end. We have actually announcements to share, but I think, you know, when you fill these out, think about what might your preference be on when you might want to do practicum. And also I have on here to list some specific skills. That can help too. Like if you say you want to do a project with, you know, I find a company that has somebody that might need this particular skill, I can look at this and say, oh, you know, Jake has, you know, some accounting skills or something. I can say, okay, he'd be a good fit. As opposed to he has no accounting skills, he's not a good fit. So that can help me if you do one during the school year. And then the last question on here is just, as you guys know, we have Cohort 5 coming in, and hopefully for you guys guys, this is unrelated to practicums, just switching gears, sorry. Is there anything else you want to say about practicums?
Yeah, just
Okay, sorry,
we'll be
change
thinking about
gears.
what the deadlines are. The deadline for this, the report to the supervisor has to be in within,
2 weeks after you finish your project, right?
so whenever you do your project, that supervisor report has to be to them within 2 weeks. And then the final paper that you do for me has to be in by the end of the last week of the semester that you do the project in. So for example, if you do it during the summer, I think summer semester is over August 3rd or something like that, it has to be in by that date. If you do it in the fall, it has to be in by December 15th or whatever that is. So 2 weeks to the supervisor, end of the semester to me.
Okay. Okay, so no questions about practicums?
So like in this 20 hours or whatever, however much we do on this project, are we going to this company and working on that project for 30 hours and then just like bouncing, or are we going and like observing what they do and then working on the project independently? What is?
Let me address that.
Sure.
Yes, and maybe not. Everyone's different. Some companies want you to be there the entire time. So they have you come in, actually physically be at the location. Others may say, come in for a couple hours, we'll show you around, we'll give you the project, you go on your own and do your project back in your dorm room, in your home. The big thing is for you guys to keep track of your hours, more for your benefit, because then you're keeping track, and if you're getting close to 20, you say, well, I'm not even halfway done, then we need, they need to keep track. That we don't want you to do 40 hours unless you guys are, willing to do that. We don't want you to be taking advantage of everything. But so some of them, again, have been very much on location. Other ones have been meet with the supervisor once or twice, or a lot through email conversation. So it really depends on the project. And that's another thing that we, if we try to figure out at the beginning what's going to be a good fit, what's your preference. I would say probably during the school year, more of them have been, more independent as far as the students back in their dorm room doing something, but not all. So.
Yeah, in some cases, it's actually kind of a shadowing type of thing.
That's what I was wondering, if it was like, go see what they're doing,
Yeah.
like how they do what they do, and then kind of have a project that has something to do with it.
That's right, and some of them do take on that. You might spend 10 hours shadowing, and then be given a little project to do it, you spend another 10 hours on it. In some cases, you walk in, you shadow very little, they bring you up to speed, they give you a project and say, Jake, you're on your own.
That's a good question. Any more questions about that? Okay. Well, we'll switch gears and real quick. On this form, we'll pass out in a second. The last question just talks about if you guys want to reach out to Cohort 5. So hopefully you all got an email at some point before you came. I know some of you didn't check your emails, that kind of thing. So if you are interested in possibly interacting, and like with Facebook, a lot of students are already joining our Facebook page, but if you want to be given a name of someone and say, hey, I want to email them, just indicate that on the sheet. So, all right, then, switching gears again, now we want to talk about the research symposium, which is this Friday, which is coming up very, very soon. Hopefully you guys all are ready for that. I emailed all the details, but I felt like it'd be important to communicate them face-to-face too. So it is in the Union. We're going to be in room 207, first of all. We're going to have our posters displayed there. Hopefully you guys all have your posters done and maybe sent to Lisa, but I won't ask that now. But if you can make sure you're there by 4 o'clock, because at 4:15 is when doors open, so family and friends can come at 4:15, so make sure you're there at 4. Dress nicely, it's obviously a professional event. We're going to have the posters, we're going to have easels and displayed around the room. So we want you guys to stand by your posters as a group, and people are going to be meandering through, the director of Choose Our How First is going to be there, some of the deans are going to be there, different administrators, of course your families. They're going to ask you questions about your project, so answer them intelligently, as you all will, because you're all very intelligent. So that'll be from 4:15, and then a little bit before 5, we're going to corral everybody into the theater, which is room 206. And in there, you guys are going to give your presentations. Each group is going to give a 5-minute PowerPoint presentation. So that's the other thing, I emailed this to you, but if you guys can make sure, have at least 1, maybe 2 people from your group to back up, bring your PowerPoint with you at 4 o'clock so we can put it on the computer ahead of time and get it, because we're going to have to really, kind of be on task there. So bring that with you on a flash drive, we'll get it in the computer. I sent you guys the order, I don't have it with me, but I sent you the order of the presenting. We prefer to have each member of the group present, right, Dr. Brewer? So we want each of you to share a little bit. 5 minutes isn't very long, it's really not, so especially if you have 4 or 5 people in your group, everybody can just share a little bit. And we'll be done by 6 o'clock. So we'll have a few remarks from some of the deans, that kind of thing, and then you guys will go, and then we'll be done. Also with the parking passes, hopefully you guys all got those. If you can make sure to forward those on if your family is coming, make sure that they can take those parking passes, they can print them out and use them so they don't get a ticket that day. Very important thing. So, okay.
The symposium is very much of, and I know I've talked about it throughout the year, one-on-ones and so forth, but it's very much of a high point for us for the year to celebrate the work that you've done this year. And it's a really popular event. It's known around the campus. What you're going to find as we come in here that you're going to be there. Hopefully some of your family members will come. The deans of education and arts and sciences will be there. The provost tries to stop by. The president has dropped by in the past. And various faculty members that you've interacted with during summer bridge, etc., will stop in. Other students from other cohorts will stop in. So it's very much of a shared experience. It's really an opportunity for us to celebrate the work you've done all year. So I really I want you to take pride in what you do and really enjoy it on Friday and do it as professionally and as well as you can. It's very much of a high point for us for the program. And it's a good opportunity for us to kind of show put our best foot forward. We also have people there are 2 visitors that day who are coming from Choose Ohio First. You met them actually in the summer bridge last summer. They were here to visit us, and they come back and they're actually spending the afternoon with us. They're doing a site visit to kind of gather information about what we're doing in action and what the other programs that are funded by Choose Ohio First are actually doing right now. So we have presentations that we're giving to them earlier in the day, and then when our presentations are done, then they're going to move on to see what you're doing, so they get a chance to hear directly from you what kind of research you're doing. So it's a really important day in the program for all of us, so it's something we look forward to all year long. Hopefully you will too, you'll really enjoy it. And hey, if your parents are coming, you might even get a free meal.
We'll have light refreshments too, so
Yeah.
not
I'm
tons.
just kind of thinking afterwards.
And somebody did ask me earlier about your posters. If you guys want to bring them over there, you can. If you want us to bring them over, Nancy will can do that. We have a meeting right beforehand with the Choose Ohio First people, but if you want us to bring it over, let us know by Friday morning. Otherwise, we'll assume that you guys are taking your poster over there on your own, which is fine. You know, we'll have everything there. We'll have the phone board and the easel on site. You'll just click on your poster, so whatever's easier. So, all right,
Any questions about Friday?
it's gonna be great. It's always fun for us because we know you guys are doing research all year when we really don't know, to be honest, what all is happening in the closed doors and things like that. So we're looking forward to hearing about it. So, oh yeah,